you today. The title of my video, which is You're Not Addicted to Sugar, You're Just Eating Intuitively. So this may spark some controversy, but let's get right into it. So before we start though, there's a couple things that I like to do before I get started. First of all, please say hello if you're watching live with me. I always like to interact with you during the video. If not, just hashtag replay, just so I know that you were watching here with me today and I can come back and say hi to you later. And then if you are watching this on Facebook or YouTube, if you are not in my community already, I have a community on Facebook called Self-Love at Any Size. And this is the community where we really create that safe container for us to explore what it means for us to fully start to accept and respect our bodies and just really finding self-love at any size by connecting back to our body. Connection is a big part of the work that I do with my clients. And so if you want to get a taste of what that's all about, just hop into our free community. We would love to welcome you there. And then if you are watching this on Facebook, I would ask you to head on over to YouTube when this video is done. I have almost 300 videos over on my YouTube channel where I talk about things just like this. We have yoga videos on there, meditations, little educational videos like this one where we just start to unlearn the toxic things that diet culture and society has done to us and start to take little baby steps towards unlearning all of those things. So I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. So with that being said, let me bring up my video here so I can say hello to anybody who's popping in. Let's see here. Okay, Lauren, there's my voice. Okay, so let's get into it. So when we talk about this, when I tell you that you're not addicted to sugar, you're just eating intuitively, let me know what kind of feelings come up for you. So right away you're like, what do you mean? Of course I can be addicted to sugar. So just bear with me and just, keep watching if this is intriguing to you. So the thing I want to say today is that you're not addicted to sugar. You're not a bad person because you can't stick to a diet. In fact, you might be doing something really amazing without even realizing it. So what if I told you that your relationship with food is normal and natural? What if I told you that your body knows exactly what it needs and that it's trying to tell you something? I know it sounds far-fetched, but bear with me for a minute and let me explain. So coming back to part of the practice that I help my clients with is intuitive eating. So intuitive eating is quite simply listening to your body. It's about giving yourself that permission to eat whatever you want when you want it. And I know for a lot of people, there's a lot of triggers that come up with that sentence of giving yourself permission to eat what you want when you want it. It's learning really to trust yourself and your body again after years of dieting that have left you feeling out of control and disconnected. And I know there's lots of people out there when you say that sentence of giving yourself permission to eat what you want when you want it, there's a lot that comes through that of like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to eat ice cream all day, or I'm just going to, eat the bad foods all the time. And at first that does tend to happen. And so people really, they have fear about it, which really the fear is just rooted in these triggers and these things that we have learned over the span of our lives that we need to start really listening to our bodies instead, because eventually your body's going to tell you what it needs and tell you what it doesn't like, tell you what it does like, and that's going to change every day depending on all these things. But it's really just connecting back to your body all the time and giving your body the power to decide what your body needs. So for so long, we have been taught that we need to restrict certain foods, right? That we need to eat less of others and we need to eat at specific times of day. We've been taught that our bodies can be trusted and that they will make us fat and unhappy if we let them lead the way. But what if it wasn't true, you guys? What if everything we've told about dieting is wrong? So the truth about sugar addiction is, so here's the thing, sugar addiction is a myth. Sure, some people feel like they can't control their cravings and they end up eating more sugar than they'd like, but that doesn't actually mean that they're addicted. It just means that they're human, right? We are wired to seek sweetness. And that's the thing that we maybe don't realize about our bodies, that we are wired to seek sweetness, because in nature, sweet foods are typically high in calories and nutrients, things that our bodies need to survive, right? But thanks to processed foods, and we are surrounded by them, we now have access to more sugar than ever before. And because our brains have registered sweetness as a reward due to culture and society, it can be really hard to resist eating sugary foods even when you really don't want or need them. But the thing is, at the end of the day, sometimes just because something is difficult doesn't mean it's impossible, right? And you just because you have these cravings doesn't mean you're powerless against them. As we start to learn to eat intuitively, it can really help break free from the cycle of yo-yo dieting and finally making peace with food. And, I think the thing is to realize that as we go through these stages of connecting back to our bodies, it's messy, right? Healing is messy. I think we can all agree on that. On just because we start something, it's not going to be perfect right away. It's not going to feel necessarily successful right away. And I'm sure we can say the same about if anyone on here watching has dieted. It doesn't typically work right away. It doesn't typically feel like amazing right away. It's something, all these things that we put our energy into, they take time to manifest. They take time to see the changes in ourselves. And that's definitely something that intuitive eating is. It's definitely a journey. And there's all these things that come up for you as you're going through this. Like, well, what about this? Well, what about that? And that is something that within my Self-Love Revolution membership that we really talk about. Just recently, one of the members in there actually brought up the sugar topic, and okay, well, how do I teach my kids to do this? Well, how do I do this? Well, what about sugar? And it's all in the journey, and it's all a part of, as these things come up, I want to help support you guys through this, because we're all learning and growing and doing this together. If you're in my communities or if you're in my membership, especially in the membership, if I have my clients that come forward with a topic that I know will benefit multiple people, that's when I'll either bring it sometimes to Facebook and YouTube. Sometimes it'll just stay within my community. But this is something that I know so many people struggle with, is their relationship with sugar, and that feeling of knowing that it's bad, because we've been told that it's bad. It's, if you eat sugar, you're bad. But it's really just, as you go through this journey, you're tuning into those body signals, those hunger cues, those fullness cues that I have talked about before. So, as we go through this journey, at first, if you were to decide to become an intuitive eater, at first you might let yourself eat sugar as much as you need to when your body tells you to. However, as you go through the process, you will start, and I know it's happened for myself too, in the past, I always would crave the sugar, actual sugar, like the ice cream or the, what else? Chocolate, whatever it is. But as I kind of went through the process, yes, I still crave those things, and I'll still have those things as I listen to my body. But taking that pause, I guess, just like with anything that we're doing in our healing journeys, taking that pause to reflect on, is it chocolate that I want? I'm going to sit with this for a minute. What's going on around me? Do I have any situations come up that would make me want to just turn to sugar for that comfort, right? Because food is comfort for a lot of us, right? It is one of our coping tools and strategies that we use, is to turn to food. And yes, we can still do that as an intuitive eater, but it's really tuning in to be like, you know what? No, I'm just sitting here bored, and chocolate is here right in the cupboard, and that's what I want. So I'm going to have it. Or maybe I'm just bored and I need to do something else with my time. Or maybe I don't necessarily want chocolate. Maybe I want a piece of fruit, because you can get that sweetness from a lot of different foods, right? And as you kind of learn that it's okay, all foods are okay, and to just listen to your body, because that's what our bodies are so amazing at doing, is they are so in tune with what we need, what we don't need. And the sooner we can start to step away from that culture of, no, you're bad, and just being able to accept the way we are, except that, go through these triggers. Like, there's a whole process that intuitive eating takes you through, but at the end of the day, it's really about listening to your body and checking in, like keeping that mindfulness going with always kind of being mindful of the things you're putting in your body, the things that you're doing in your life. Like, there's all these things that we go through that do we just really have to always take that pause and come back to ourselves. So with that being said, if you're struggling with your relationship with food, know that you're not alone. Millions of women feel the same way that you do. They feel confused, they feel frustrated, and they feel exhausted by the diet culture that we live in. But we have to know that there's another way, that there's a way to eat that feels good. There's a way to eat that honors our body, and it lets us enjoy food without guilt and shame. And that way is called intuitive eating. So if you guys want more information about my program or anything else that I talked about today, I'm happy to discuss further. Just send me a message or head on over to my website if you want more information there. And in the comment or in the description of this video, I've also put in there a free guide called Disrupting Diet Culture. So if you want to grab that free guide, you're more than welcome to, just to start to kind of just take those little baby steps towards unlearning some of the things that society and diet culture have done to us, and how we can start to step away from that and really connect back to ourselves. So thank you guys for anyone who tuned in today. And as always, I hope you guys have the best day, and we will talk to you again soon. Take care.